Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being on our program today. I'm excited, as always. Wonderful topic here. Do we need to help more girls get into shop classes, the industrial arts? Do do we need to help them to promote more equality, if you will, in the workforce, or are there other positive reasons why we should increase this issue? And we received on Facebook, we have a particular page, Shop Teachers, almost 400 teachers across North and South America, and now increasing internationally, thanks to Mr. Kurt Hahn, who's a guest on the show today. And, you know, Chris Davis wrote to us and said, I'm not a female teacher in the arts, in the industrial arts, but I've done some projects that had really looked, and I'm excited to share about it. And as he began to talk about it, I thought, you know what, share it with the world. I think it's an outstanding project. But we're going to get into the details of why, when, and where this project was particularly done. So first of all, let me welcome Chris Davis. He's a teacher at the high school level in Henry Ford, the second high school in Michigan. And we also have Kurt Hahn, who is the CEO S3 Productions and also started the Shop Teachers Facebook page as well. And I'll be your host today. I'm Armando F. Sanchez. So let's start with Chris. Chris, first of all, tell us the environment you're in. What is it like, your school in Michigan? And what prompted you to this idea that you were going to recruit girls into your class?
Well, I teach woodworking at a high school in the second biggest district in Michigan, Utica Community Schools. I'm at one of the four high schools. And the projects, I just started thinking about more student interest rather than the traditional wood shop type projects, cutting boards, wall shelves, stuff like that. It doesn't really drive excitement. So what we did is we wanted to tie student interest and motivation to the class. So we did that by the projects that we chose, specifically with longboards, skateboards, paddle boards, surfboards, and snowboards. So we tied action sports to our class.
What inspired you to do that? I mean, specifically you. I mean, what thought, hey, you know what? Let's do specifically, like you say, longboards and skateboards, etc.
Well, we've kind of done all the projects in the past, but we have not had like a full class set up to just do those projects. And when we did, interest in the class grew. I mean, amazingly grew. Not just with the guys in the school, but girls as well. We went from normally 1 to 2 girls a year in my classes to between 30 to 40 within 2 years of doing this. So
tell us about the projects. We're going to post some of the images that you provided for me, but tell us, what happened when you decided to take on these new project items, and then how did the girls get affected by the projects?
Okay, so basically, when we started doing these projects, I started posting pictures on Instagram. And when I started doing that, I was doing it more for the students to be able to show other kids in the district like what we're doing, so they could see what we're making. But what ended up happening is people from all over the world started seeing these, and it just kind of became a hit. We ended up doing a paddle board for Christy Petrillo. She was the HGTV host of Cabin Reno. And she ended up showing pictures of the paddle boards to Sir Richard Branson, who also wanted one for his private island, Necker Island. So after our first year of doing the boards, at the very beginning of our second year, we were doing the Richard Branson board. And I decided to make that an all-girls project to basically break stereotypes. I did not want people thinking that, that guys built it. I wanted it give that opportunity to the girls in the class to show what they could do. Now, none of these girls had any woodworking experience before they
Oh,
came in here.
wow. Uh-huh.
None. They had never been in a wood shop before. And um, we just took it step by step, and their talent and their enthusiasm just came through in the project. And if you see the finished project of the board, you'll see that how the enthusiasm came through in the finished product.
So these individuals that saw and Sir Branson, did they end up like paying for the shipping or for the materials, or you guys just gave it over to them and just got pictures and letters?
Yep. So everything was donated for the project, and yep, we shipped it to him, and he should be getting it any day now.
Oh, wow. They still haven't received it then, huh?
No, it takes a lot to get it to Necker Island, and then with COVID hitting in March, like we just finished the board 2 days before we were sent out for the year because of COVID. So luckily we got the board done, and then with COVID, with all his businesses going on, it was not easy to get a hold of him at that point. So we did end up shipping it, and it takes a while to get to a private island. So that was a whole different challenge by itself.
Wonderful. Mr. Hahn, you had some questions.
Well, I go back to what I find so exciting was I had just mentioned earlier, I had just finished the book. I mean, literally just finished the book when I saw the pictures of the longboards with Necker Island on it and how you all done that. And I'm a firm believer in connecting cosmic dots in the world, how things are all interrelated. And for that, I got to say, wow, that is really, really cool. And, to have it all linked back to a shop teacher Facebook page was even cooler. And now to be doing this and talk to the guy who made it happen is even cooler.
Yeah. So with this project, we did the all girls, but we knew we were going to get a bunch of media about it. Since we've started doing these projects, we've had all kinds of media in the classroom, all kinds of articles written about us, and with that helps get the community to know as well what we're doing. The more information we can get out to the community and the students about what we're doing, the more excited they are to sign up to take the class. So it helps with recruiting new people, and the media involved has also helped with recruiting girls.
Chris, one of the questions I'm going to ask you a little bit into the show in a few minutes is where people can contact you. So if you have a contact address, we're going to come back to that in a few minutes. The question I want to ask you right now is what you mentioned that these girls, tell us how many or whatever background you have on them. Tell us what did they learn in the process from the moment they started? And I'm sure they must have had a lot of doubts about themselves. What did they learn through the process of the project?
So what we focus on is student strengths, not student weaknesses. Lots of districts have like what they call the bottom 30%, or they're trying to push what's more education toward what students are not good at, rather than letting them excel in what they are good at. And that was the basis behind it. So we had 8 girls in the group, and we found out their talents, what some of them were better at. Some of them were like the hardcore builder type, and they just wanted to get their hands dirty. Some of them were more the artistic type. Some of them were better at communicating than other ones. So like when the news came in, we had some of our better communicators doing the interviews. We had some of our artists drawing the designs for the board, sketches, and we had our builders, more on the machines, getting dirty, building them. Now they all did something on building the board. You know, it wasn't just the builders building that. They all chipped in, but some of them played a bigger role than others.
I have to chuckle, not because I agree with what you're saying. I used to get in more trouble because I always said that education as a whole spend more time tearing down their strengths to build up their weaknesses and winding up with mediocre, as opposed to building upon their strengths and raising them up to higher standards. And I used to get in more trouble for that, but that's the reason I was.
Mr. Hunt, you manage to get in trouble all the time, some one way or the other. But that's because you're an innovator. That's why.
So to talk about what the girls learned out of it, they definitely learned teamwork. And when we do some of these celebrity boards, we've been doing quite a few of them now. And we learn about the person that we're building them for, because we want to personalize the board. So we learn about what has made them successful. And with Richard Branson, I mean, it's an endless lesson from a guy like that who's done so much. But teamwork, working together, research and design, marketing, communication skills, graphic arts, advertising, because they were all posting stuff on social media about what they were doing. And then, of course, just the woodworking skills in general. So they got quite a bit out of it, learning wise. I had one girl quoted in a paper saying that it was by far the most educational experience that she had received throughout her high school career. One of the girls wrote a letter for her college entrance letter. It was about how woodshop changed her life. And, and this is a girl that stereotypically does not fit the mold of what you would think of a high school, woodshop student.
Outstanding. Let me go back to the idea question. What is your contact information where people want to, learn more about your projects?
Yeah, so the website is www.keepthecraftalive.com. So keep the
One
craft
word?
alive.
Keep the craft alive?
Yep. .com. And my class Instagram page is at Henry Ford II Woodworking. So you can see all the projects that we're doing on there and what the kids are up to.
I hope the kids come back into the classroom quickly and be able to continue. But this is a project that I'm sure it's suspended, but not necessarily ended as well. So let me see if I get this right. This is what is unique about your project is two-sided. One, it's the uniqueness of a project that's really going to go out to someone real. It's not just I'm making this for myself and I can put it on the corner.
Yeah.
You're projecting it to a real person. I think that's an outstanding. But what I see, what I hadn't conceived of, is bringing in the social media package into it, where the kids can, like you said, Instagram and be able to highlight their program and get reactions to their projects. Maybe they could have also gone, maybe they did, where they send out ideas and kids said, oh, draw it this way or draw it that way. And kids were contributing even outside of your classroom. We may never know that, but it was open to input from all sides. That I think is very unique for a project to be done that way.
Yeah, we wanted to get the best product that we could. We learned how to build these boards from the top, in my opinion, the top paddleboard builder in the business, Jason Thalen from Little Bay Boards. He builds fantastic paddleboards that are just beautiful. We learned specifically from him. He mentors our program, and we just use the kids' creativity and ideas just start flying, and it just builds excitement. And the other thing is kids get more excited the more excited everybody around them gets. It just builds. So as soon as like media and stuff started coming into the classroom, you have a combination of success from media for the district, positive media for the district, positive media for the class, exposure, and excitement and motivation from the students because everyone is liking what they're doing. It's just like a sports team that's doing really well and they're going into playoffs. That community starts to build around them. And that's what we're doing with these projects and why I want to take what I'm doing and spread it around to other schools by offering the curriculum, all the materials, how to build all this stuff. So it's like a one-stop shop for any district that wants to pursue these types of projects. They'll get more media and more advertising for their district than spending however much money in an ad or something like that.
And the kids get the positive exposure as well. You mentioned the idea that there was a major person who is a boarder. I'm sorry, I'm out of my league a little bit here.
Okay.
The board, was it the one you stand on? What do you call it?
Stand-up paddleboard?
Stand-up paddleboard.
Yeah.
You said there was somebody who was mentoring the class. Were you doing that where he was invited into your classroom via a virtual and he was talking about ideas or just topics, articles you grabbed from him? How was this being done?
Well, he didn't help design the paddleboard for Richard Branson, but no, I called him up and asked him if I could come work for free in the summer to learn the tricks of the trade. And so I did. So I went up and got a hotel and stayed up there and worked for free in the summer to learn how to do this so I could bring it back to the students. And it's paid off. It was money out of my pocket, but it is what it is. You don't get rich from teaching.
That's true. Did he ever talk to the students directly about?
Yeah. So since then, it's just been an ongoing thing. Last year, he ended up coming down and to the class and speaking with the students and doing some demonstrations. Virtually, I'm in the process. I'm going to be going up there in a couple weeks to do a virtual field trip for the students so they can see his shop and how it's set up. And I think they'll be amazed at how much alike what we have going on in our shop is what he's doing for a living. So we're excited about it.
Han and I are both here in California, and I don't think I've ever come across a project that should be done here in California as well. Especially you say skateboarding. Oh my gosh, that's everywhere, except where there's a lot of snow, of course, in the winter. But I mean, that's the first thing that pops into my head as being a huge industry. Mr. Han, you had a question.
Well, my first question was the district you teach in, is it a rural district, an urban district,
We're in the suburbs.
Yeah.
The suburbs of Detroit.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is, we used to do things like that too. And some environments, how dare you do what you're doing because that doesn't fit the mold of education. In other districts, it's all for it, go for it, and make things happen. That was kind of the reason I asked the question.
Well, the curriculum, so my curriculum, it just coincides with state curriculum, okay? So the state has their curriculum, that the skills that are supposed to be taught in class. All we're doing is just taking those skills and to create different projects rather than changing the curriculum, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And right off the bat, like you said, some districts might look at it like that to start until the article after article after article starts getting written about the projects that they're making, or if they're building a celebrity type project and all the positive things that come out of it. Next thing you know, they're buying into it, because right off the bat, I can't say that our district would have been all that excited about it as well from the start.
What happened to these young ladies, the ones that already did the board and did their project and went through all this wonderful experiences and exposure? What came of them?
So two of them are in the Navy now, and the rest of them are enrolled in college.
Do you see them? What skills do you see that they learned through your classroom and obviously their education that they took with them into their ongoing levels of where they are now?
Honestly, in my opinion, the most important skill that they learned is self-confidence and self-worth. When they came into the class with no woodworking experience, and I told them that we're building a paddleboard for Sir Richard Branson and showed them examples of other paddleboards we've made and um, what we want to do, they didn't think, I don't think they thought they could do it. I think it was like a pipe dream for them. Like, yeah, okay, it sounds great, but I don't know if we can do it. And what they learned along the way is that they can do anything with the right direction and motivation. So it doesn't matter what they do in life. If they end up getting into a trade, great. If they end up doing something else, great. But whatever they do, they're going to have that self-confidence that they can do, that they can take on these challenges. There's so much problem solving that goes into these boards. So many hiccups and problems that we run into that we have to overcome. And just like life, just like in anything that we do. So to me, that's the most important thing that they get out of it when it comes to, what they learned.
That was one of the things that I experienced more than anything else was you have these kids who their self-confidence is not the most wonderful. And those that are willing to take the chance to do something and solve those problems and work those issues, not afraid of failure, will do wonderfully.
Yep.
And there's others that'll talk about it all day long, but they won't do anything about it. And,
And there's another aspect to what you're saying, because it's not just the students, it's the teachers too.
Yeah.
So when we decided to do these boards, I had no idea how to do them, and we went all in. Like, we are going to make these projects. We're going to figure it out. So that's why one of the most important things that I'm offering with this class is face-to-face training where each teacher builds the projects with me right there so they physically do it. That's the other thing that I feel like schools tend to lack on sometimes is teacher training for how to do things.
What a concept.
Right. So if you have, as soon as you're a woodshop teacher, you're labeled that you know how to build everything. And that's just not the case. Woodworking is it's just such a wide variety of different aspects of woodworking. And, for teachers to be able to take projects like these on, they really need full training and support from people that have, when they run into some of these problems or, like, how do I fix this? Or I'm not sure about that. Somebody that they can turn to and ask those questions.
Well, I know I taught electronics and computers, and what I found out very early was you're the expert. If it plugs into the wall, you know how to fix it, and which means you can run the sound system for the schools, you can do the audiovisual for the schools, you can fix our computers, you can fix my TV, the copy machine. If it plugs in the wall, you can do it. And it was like, yeah.
Yep.
We blew up a lot of stuff because I didn't know how to do it. And sometimes it's actually pretty cool. Fire can be kind of fun. But yeah, we blew up a lot of stuff. We also fixed a lot of stuff because I wasn't afraid to try, and some of the kids weren't afraid to try. And I say fire can be fun. As long as there's no blood or lawyers, everything's cool.
Sure.
Well, we need to close the show. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. But before we do that, we're going to have closing statements. But Chris, I'd like to ask you once again to give out your contact information. I know you gave out a website and also another site as well. Could you please repeat that?
Yeah, so the website is www.keepthecraftalive.com. and you can email me at chris.davis@keepthecraftalive.com. Those are the best ways to get a hold of me, or you can also send me a message on Instagram to our class page, Henry Ford II Woodworking on Instagram.
Okay. The second one, the Henry Ford II Woodworking, keepthecraftalive.com. And you said the other one was Chris Davis?
chris.davis@keepthecraftalive.com.
Okay, I got them. I wrote them down. Okay, we're going toward closing statements, unfortunately, to end the show. But I just want to, before we close, I want to say congratulations on your insights and your willingness to take on something so unique and carrying it through and supporting the girls and future women also to continue keeping pace with what the skills are and to be able to use them in their own lives as well. So, but let me start first with Han. Mr. Kurt Hahn, your closing statements, please.
Well, first off to Chris, I say that shop teacher page is sort of the virtual teacher's lounge, if you will. So it's a tool to do the things that you need to do, and feel free to use it as you need to. I know since you posted on there, but fascinating to read people's comments about what you're doing. So feel free to do that. And again, I got to say, wow, I don't know what else to say except what a cool idea. And it's actually very cool to see teachers do things that don't fit a mold of this is how you do it. You know, do this, and you'll succeed. You're doing things that are just blowing people's minds. And I got to say thank you and congratulations. And do me a favor and pass on to the girls my thanks, congratulations, words of whatever you want to call it, but people are noticing what they're doing. You know, feel free to pass that on.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And stay tuned as well, because this year we are doing paddle boards for Jesse Itzler. He's the founder of Marquee Jets, Sicko Coconut Water. He's a New York seller or best-selling author for Living with a Seal and Living with Monks. And he's married to Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. She's an entrepreneur, awesome couple, really cool people. If you would have told me 3 years ago that we would be building projects for 2 billionaires in a row, I would have told you you're crazy. And here we are.
Crazy is good. Remember that. Crazy is good.
There are many kinds of crazy. There are certain ones that are better than others. I'll say that much. Well, I need to close the show, unfortunately, because of the time constraint. But again, we've been talking to Chris Davis. He's at Henry Ford II High School in Michigan. And I've learned a lot from today's show. My closing statements are as follows. I go back to what you said, Chris, the idea that the classroom environment is helping to break stereotypes. And the whole idea that is the barrier for a lot of young ladies who are very talented, who could do a lot of work through the process of not only learning the crafts, i.e. through shop classes, but also going to the next level of also learning entrepreneurship and turning it into a business as well. And I think that's one of the areas that I'd like to see more of. And I think you're already doing that by showing that if you create a product and it's marketed the right way, you can get the right customers as well. So it goes beyond just the shop. It's if anything, it's not closure of shops. If anything, it's sort of opening and making it look at a whole new level of what is possible. And that's what I thank you, Chris, for what you bring onto the table. And again, thank you for being on the show. I look forward to having you highlight other programs as well. We're always here to support your efforts in any way, shape, or form we can. And consider the California market, because we're also a major country unto ourselves here. But you know, the opportunities are also endless for all the students that you're helping build. And I'm sure they're taking their talents and their skills also to help with the rebuilding of California and the 2 states that were in fires. And that's not to say all the hurricanes that are impacting the East Coast and everything else that's, you know, infrastructure, et cetera. So I applaud your efforts. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much. And again, I invite you to be on future shows. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Armando F. Sanchez. I want to thank Kurt Hahn for being on our program, and definitely Chris Davis, again from Henry Ford, the second high school in Michigan. I wish you continual success, and thank you for being on the program. I look forward to having you guys back on again in the near future.
No problem.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Are we off?
Yeah, don't say anything until I tell you to, am I still here? Yes, you're still here, Mr. Hahn. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to cut off in about half a minute, but thank you. We are off the show now.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. And again, Chris, take my invitation seriously. Any way we can help, you have our full attention.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I'm sure that after I get all the ducks in a row, I'd love to do a show on, because when you said California for a market, that's a huge market that I want to go after because of the action sports industry that's just thriving out there. So
we have some links to Fox. I used to work with them on several projects. I do some projects with ABC. I used to do educational program with Walt Disney. Han was involved in all that. We're still doing the production side. So absolutely the exposure, especially the exposure through the kids, the projects, past, present, and future. Absolutely. I think you may be overwhelmed, but that's a whole different problem to have.
No, I will take that as the problem all day long. So.
All right, Chris. All right. Thanks a lot for being on the show. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.